Here.
Dave Spoker.
Present.
Paul Gates.
I said present. She called for Paul Gates. He let me know he would not be able to make it today.
Tim Golek.
Here.
Henry Gutierrez.
He also called me and told me he would not be able to make it.
James Barrymore.
Here.
John Stutzman. And we do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Can we get IT to come up and get rid of this feedback?
Or the echo. Echo.
In the meanwhile, we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. In consideration of public comments, this is a hybrid meeting. A hybrid meeting means that there are a variety of ways that folks can bring their comments to the commission. One way is in person, another way is by call-ins, and a third way is by write-ins. Janie, has the administrative offices received any call-ins or written comments?
There were no comments received.
There was no comments?
None.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll go on to reports, and we'll start with Industrial Park Staff Report, and I see Bennett is on the line.
Yes. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. I wanted to talk a little bit about the rail. For May, our cars that were stored were 151. The cars that were switched were 95 cars. We are going to be seeing more of an uptick in some of the rail. We've got some new companies coming into the park that are going to be having the need for rail. So we anticipate those numbers are going to be increasing in the coming months. I wanted to let you know that let's talk about land sales. So recently we did complete the 3.6 acre land sale. The funds were received by finance, and that was for $118,650. And so what we'll do, staff will continue to work with that project as they go through the various permitting and other processes to build that project out. We do have requirements that they are to, build to certain specifications in regards to the size of the facility, and then hiring a certain amount of employees. That's one of the things the city looks for, is to create infrastructure and create jobs when we go to sell property. And also that then the property gets reinvested, or the funds get reinvested back into the industrial, or back into the airport. We are having what we're calling a public safety meet and greet on July 6th. That's going to take place at 2 p.m. at the Kingman Airport Operations Bay. And we're going to have Sheriff Doug Schuster there to speak and provide updates and answer any questions. We'll also have the Northern Arizona Consolidated Fire District and the Kingman representatives there to talk about, various processes. And then also when we do sell a piece of property and we develop, there's also processes those businesses go through in preparing their property. with the fire department. We'll also have the Desert Mountain Security um, company there to speak and answer any questions. Staff is also continually working on broadband. We are in need of increasing broadband out here at the industrial park for our existing businesses and the future businesses that we're talking with. And so we're in discussions with multiple companies about interest in coming out here at the industrial park. We're also talking with one of those companies about expanding into the Kingman region, which would include it within the city limits. And if that were to take place, it would substantially improve broadband opportunities for the community. In the last month, we had the Arizona Commerce Authority representative for rural Arizona come out to visit us, and we were able to provide a tour of the industrial park with them, and also maps of the properties that we currently have available for potential businesses. And then we also started a process with the BNSF rail to put properties that we have out here into their certified sites program. It's a pretty extensive process. It's going to take probably the next 6 months to go through that, and then they even have requirements to do different things like provide phase ones on those properties. So we're going to be going down that road, looking at ways to have those properties ready to when the potential industry comes in, we're going to have a lot of those questions answered that we get from time to time. New business update. Out here, we've been working with, not only do we work with, selling property, we work with, through business retention and expansion efforts on existing buildings that are out here. We work with those building owners to help them bring in new industry, and the Colt Builders Project is one of those that we've been working on for the last 7 to 8 months. Just an update on that. We've got the water lines in, the fire hydrants, and the roadway into their facility is in the works. Once they have that completed, that should meet the fire marshal's standards, and they hope to have their first order of lumber ordered here coming up at the end of June, and they anticipate by the end of July, early August being operational out of that facility. The Cordelier Window Company is another company that is in the process of doing work in an existing building, and they hope to basically be manufacturing starting July 12th. So they've also talked with, we also work with companies in regards to workforce, and helping them get in touch with the various entities that are going to help them get the workforce that they're going to need. Because in order to, sell these properties, we need to have a workforce that can provide them the ability to get their product out the door. And so they had over 43 people respond to their advertisement that went out, and they were very happy with that response. So, and I was surprised as well. So maybe some of this talk about the employment might be turning a little bit. I think it's helped that obviously some of the unemployment has gone away at the state level. Interstate Group was a company that we sold property to. Their site plan has been submitted on the back of their property. The revisions came, actually, county sent that back with comments. There weren't any substantial comments that would be a problem to the development, and so we're excited that project is moving forward. We've also submitted on for probably every week we're submitting our properties that we own here at the industrial park to projects that could fit for them. For instance, we got a project in on Friday. I'm working on a submittal right now on one of our sites. And what happens is, you know, it's a statewide process. It's actually a western coast process where multiple states submit on these projects. And so we're continually putting our properties out there and, you know, going through the process of hopefully ending in the result of where we get a site visit. This did happen last month on another project. We did get a site visit on a project that we submitted over 6 months ago. And I'm very excited about the potential on that. We're on the very short list, which means, you know, we're competing against one or two other potential sites. So, you know, our goal is to, you know, sell that property and hopefully, you know, they are working on some due diligence. We're hoping for an application to purchase property in the near future on that. And then a project that, excuse me, a project that we've been working on for, you know, the last year is we've got 3 roads out at the industrial park. This has been in with engineering, and we basically now have the bid book back, and so that's going to be sent out for advertisement, and we hope to be able to have all of the submittals back by July 28th to then select a contractor to start building those roads. So, and then tomorrow we have a CAMA meeting starting at 1 o'clock. It will be a hybrid meeting. So we look forward to, you know, seeing people as well on Zoom as well as potentially in person. We do limit the amount of people that are allowed, but it's been this will be the first time back after, you know, over a year. So with that's my update. If there are any questions.
Yeah, Bennett, I didn't catch the amount of the land sale that was 3+ acres. How much was that?
Yeah, the funds we received were $118,650.
Okay, and what is the time of the meet and greet on the July 6th?
That is at 2 p.m. and it's out in our bay.
2 p.m.?
Yep, and that's at 7,000 Flight Line.
Right, at the administration office.
Correct.
How much have we generated in land sales in the last 5 years? Do you know?
Well, I don't know the last 5 years. I've been here 3 years.
Okay, how about the last 3 years? Do you have any idea?
Off the top of my head, I'll get the information back to you, but just off the top of my head, I want to say over $500,000 or around there.
Okay. Maybe by the next meeting you can have an exact figure for us, please?
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions?
No.
All right. All right, thank you very much for your update. And Mr. Breckenridge, I have to apologize. I skipped a step at the beginning of our meeting. We need to go back and ask for the approval of the minutes. And hopefully everybody's had a chance to go over those. I know it was emailed to us in our packet. So as soon as you're comfortable, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
All right. It's been moved by Commissioner Gerlach and seconded by Commissioner Lorimer. Is there any discussion, additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, the minutes are approved, and thank you for that. All right, airport staff. Mr. Bill.
Good evening, or good afternoon, Chair Burrows and Commissioners. For the airport activity report, for airport business development, we currently released an RFP, request for proposal, for 2 parcels of land. One of those parcels is just north of our FBO. Another parcel is just next to and just north of Straubbe's. That information is out for 2 parties that first expressed interest. We're hoping additional parties will express interest. Hey, more people we have, more companies we have, the more competition, the better everybody is. With that information being placed out there, we're kind of hoping towards the end of July, or reality towards the end of July, we're going to accept all submittals, and then from there go through our process, which is on our website on the time frame of the requests that are questions that may be given to us, also the site visit, and then also following the submittals.
Would these be leased properties or sold properties?
This will be leased. This is going to be inside the fence line. This is going to be abut the actual apron. This will be leased property. It will not be sold.
Okay.
For staffing and selection, we currently, earlier this month, we went through and we did interviews for the airport operations and maintenance supervisor position. We have one individual that we're expressing interest in. We're going through the final little tidbits here and there before we make a final offer to that individual. On the plus side, earlier this month, we actually went to a 7-day work week for our airport operations and maintenance staff. They have been working here on Fridays, Saturdays, or really Saturday and Sunday coverage now. It has been great because they've been able to tackle some items that don't require an entire group of individuals, and has allowed immediate response to our tenants' needs as it arises through the weekends. Towards around June or July, we will start putting out there for hiring the additional member, because our city council has blessed the budget, and that gives us the ability to go after one more airport operations maintenance specialist, and that individual will be more towards the afternoon time, almost into the evening time, so that will further increase our coverage. As for airport projects and maintenance, I'll go into this a little bit more detail on Taxiway Bravo in the next section. For terminal painting and landscaping, we're still working with the city's budget or signs division, and working on developing 2 new signs for the terminal, both front and back side. We're trying to resolve some issues with the grass on the back side towards the ramp before we start painting grass. We have a few minor issues that we need to get addressed before we start investing in grass seed and sod and getting the sprinklers going. Terminal air conditioning, I know that everybody's aware that the cafe and the terminal building air conditioning has not been working over the past couple of weeks. We did manage to install 2 new air handling units inside the terminal. It is going through a little bit of teething issues. We are working with our tenants and listening to their concerns, and we are still trying to resolve some minor issues with it to get it up and 100% functional. T-hanger weather stripping. I know Chair Burrows has been one on your mind since about December. We are working on that. We did order somewhat plastic weather stripping for that section of T-hanger C's that has been receiving direct sunlight, and unfortunately, the first time we ordered, we didn't exactly order enough. So we're ordering some additional weather stripping, and we're planning to knock it all out in one go. That weather stripping was ordered late last week, so hopefully here within the next week or 2, we'll get that, and we'll start lining up the guys to get out there and replacing the weather stripping on the actual hangers. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Breckenridge, if we could back up to the staff scheduling and coverage, I did hear that you talked about how you're going to utilize staff for coverage and the new position if it comes about. Did you address the security?
Oh, sorry. I should have mentioned that. Apologize. Thank you, sir, for catching that. Security, I do know Commissioner Ansbacher, you asked this last time, was how much we're going to be budgeting for security. The additional security when staff leaves at night for the coverage, we are looking at 40,000, around 40,000 for next year. And then hopefully we'll be able to get another 40,000 for the following year for our 2-year pilot program. The security firm, which is probably going to have to go out to bid once we start getting down to it and going through the legal and make sure we're following state law and city rules. We're probably going to bring that out to bid, but what we're hoping to do is have them come in as soon as the late night airport operations specialist leaves. So they'll immediately come in right above them and then cover all the way till the next staff members come in the following morning. This will greatly increase us to almost 24-hour security throughout the days.
Excuse me for a second. What time does staff leave?
Well, right now, when it comes to once we hire the new airport operations specialist, we're probably going to be looking at them leaving around 5 to 6 o'clock p.m. And then we're looking at having the security members start coming in around that exact same time. We're going to work it out with them, whoever is selected in the process, and from there we're going to develop the best schedule that we can for ensuring proper security is maintained on the airfield.
Have we had any recent issues that would have been resolved if we had security there and there was no security?
Nothing recent to my knowledge. The tenants that I did speak to that have expressed security concerns over the past month, a lot of their concerns were related to further past incidents. But it has happened in the past. It could still happen again. We still need to make sure we are properly securing the airfield for the safety of the people that are out there, for the safety of the flying public, and to ensure that people's property is being properly secured and not stolen or damaged.
Okay. With that in mind, I understand that to get the most coverage, that requires for the new position to be approved and filled. Hopefully, you'll be able to go forward with the security even before that position is filled. I realize we still won't get 24-hour coverage, but it will get greater coverage than we have now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are looking into that, but what I'm kind of projecting right now is while we're going through the hiring process of this new staff member, we'll start lining up for the bidding for the security if it hits over the certain mark. And with that, they should both coincide at the same time, or that's what we're hoping for. That is one of our goals. I can't really make a promise on that, but that is one goal that we're going to shoot for.
Okay, thank you.
One item that is not under here for maintenance, because I do know that a lot of the pilots probably wonder about this, is Gate 300. Gate 300 did have a damaged component. It has been ordered and has arrived earlier this week, either today at the airport or it will be there tomorrow. Staff would be working to install that new component with, hopefully by the end of this week, and that gate will be functioning again. For the FAA and ADOT coordination, we did receive a CRISA grant offer for $13,000. That will, or we're hoping that council will approve it on July the 6th. It will be in front of council on July the 6th. That grant really give you guys an idea that covered our sneeze guard for our receptionist. That also covered janitorial supplies also. Another project that's coming down is going to be the FAA drainage study update. It was approved earlier this month by City Council. That drainage update, if you're not already aware of it, is going to be focusing on the drainage of the airfield. One thing you can't really plan for ahead of time is, or you shouldn't, is plan for any type of additional construction on the airfield unless if you're for certain that you will not have erosion coming further down the line and interrupting or disturbing your work. So by having this drainage study done, it will better prepare us and have a better understanding of the future environmental circumstances that can impact infrastructure at the airport. and allow us to have a better idea of developing future projects around that drainage study. Well, with the assistance of the drainage study. We also, what we have is the ADOT Taxiway Bravo. It is, the design phase is 90% complete. We reached out to ADOT and we CC'd FAA on this one for the 90% plans, just requesting any final comments from them. We have not heard anything back. We're probably going to wait towards the end of this week, and if we do not hear anything back from them, we're just going to verify that they are happy with it, and that will be 100%, for the most part, 100% of the design program. With that, we're probably looking at July or August to start up the phase one concept, or the phase one construction. Now, we are waiting for possible additional grant funding coming in before the end of this fiscal year, which will allow us to abut or run side by side in tandem or close to each other, phase one and phase two. But right now, that funding is not 100% guaranteed, so we are still waiting on it. And if it by any small chance falls through, then we may be phasing this project out a little bit further. For the PAPI replacement, it's in the exact same scenario. We're still waiting for that additional grant money, if it comes around, to where we can replace all the PAPIs on the airfield. If it does not, we're probably going to end up focusing on, I believe it is runway 3's PAPIs, and getting those back up and running as soon as possible. For the ADOT runway match grant, we've in the process of closing out the runway project. Just to give you an idea, the total of the project was $2,655,000. Let me rephrase that: $2,655,435. The FAA picked up around $2,400,000 of it. The state match grant was $118,000. Over that, $118,657, and for ours, it was $118,697. Also to match up with the states. Does anybody have any questions right now?
Yes. In the future, could you maybe give us an idea of how much money we have in the, for lack of a better term, savings account? Because about every year we add money to the reserves that the airport has. And I think when the city of Kingman took it back, there was over $1 million that came with the airport. So possibly in the future, because I know this hasn't been done in the past, it'd be nice to know exactly how much we have. I mean, let's face it, we throw some pretty big numbers around. $118,000 isn't a whole lot when you're talking about a $2 million project. But if we could have some idea how that gets depleted from the savings account that the airport has, that'd be nice to know.
Yes, Commissioner Ansberger, we'll definitely take a look at that and see if we could provide that in a format for
Thank you.
council in the next meeting. For the actual draw site update, I know everybody's been very interested in this because it is a large piece of land that is very difficult or not fully accessible by aircraft and other industries. The actual phase 3 of the draw site plan was given to DOJ. They are currently reviewing it. Staff is keeping track of that, and we're waiting to hear back from DOJ, and we're just following up with them as necessary to get an idea of where they are in the process of their review.
So the project, the ball is in DOJ's court now, not ours.
It is in the DOJ's court.
Okay, thank you very much.
For the FAA land release, our engineers submitted a draft plan for the environmental assessment. FAA has reviewed those plans, and they have came back with questions and comments. Our engineers are currently working on answering their questions, making adjustments to the EA that FAA has raised up concerns or just wanted some minor wording change. We have been meeting with them routinely on this to ensure that this is moving as quick as possible. Both parties are working great together. FAA has done their best to get us the information as soon as they possibly can. So that is still moving forward, and we are having continuous meetings on the essential or on the environmental assessment, either with the airport and the engineers or with the engineers and with the FAA. That right there, a lot of communication is going back and forth. The more communication you have, the quicker the process moves forward, and the least likely we're going to have any mistakes where we're going to have to backtrack and further delay this project. But if there are, just for the community's knowledge, that's for the 1,800 acres on the southern side of the airfield and also on the eastern side, or western side, sorry. For the hangar occupancy and wait list, currently for the executive hangars, availability, we have 5 hangars. Occupied is complete 5. We have 0 on the wait list. For B and C hangars, out of 30 hangars, 30 of them are occupied. We have 5 individuals that are waiting, and then we're having 2 individuals that are in separate hangars in the same facility that want to relocate to a different spot, different hangar.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I was recently in the hangar that is in the B row opposite of the runway. So it's facing flight line. And to close that door, you have to hold with both hands and pull and almost become off the ground to get it, and I'm not real small, to pull it down to latch it in. And it shouldn't be that difficult. I've been in other hangars that were a lot easier to close the door. And I don't know if they need adjusted or what the deal is, but one of your staff, and I don't recall the name, according to the tenant in that hangar, he said he talked to somebody, one of your guys that drives around and checks on things, and he said it was still under warranty. Well, I find that hard to believe. I don't know how long the warranty lasted, but those hangars have been there quite a while. So are they under warranty still?
I cannot say, sir. I really do not know, but I was unaware of this issue. And
Yeah, well, I understand.
we'll go ahead and we'll start looking into it, see if we could, if it is under warranty, then when we reach out, that is if it's under warranty. But probably there's a high probability that it's not, and we are going to look into it.
How long have those hangars been there? Janie, do you know?
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably out of warranty.
So
now.
I can't fathom they'd still be under warranty.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, he just was complaining about it, so I thought I'd mention it. And the hangar next to his, the door isn't closed all the way either. I don't know if that's indicative of the problem or what.
I do not know. Nobody has brought that up to me.
Okay, well,
When I go by and I check those hangars, a lot of times it's in the hot time of the day, so there's very few pilots out there moving around. So it's kind of difficult to get in and take a look at the hangars for me. I have to go along with a lot of times when people start reporting these problems and bringing it up to me and to staff to where we get it addressed. But in this case, we will do a little bit better job of documenting and following up with these requests or these concerns.
well, next time I see him, I'll tell him to report it to the administration office.
Please do. Please do. And please feel free to share my email too, so
Sure.
we can get that information,
Okay,
because that does need to be addressed, that is actually requiring some straining to get that door down.
thank you.
You're welcome, sir. D hangars, We have 10 D hangars, 10 are occupied. For the cover tie downs, 10 are available, 10 are occupied, and we have 9 on the wait list. Now, as you guys are maybe, or as you may be aware that CC, or City Council, has actually blessed the budget, so we have gotten the $200,000 for building new shade tie downs. That's going to be something that we're going to start moving forward to as soon as we possibly can. I want to see those go up as soon as possible, and
Do you have a site in mind for them?
it is right next to the current ones, I believe just south of them. It
Okay.
is. It's just south of the current cover tie downs.
Okay.
And who will be heading up that project?
At right now, at this current time, it's going to be me getting the ball rolling on that one. I will be speaking to engineers and then also working with the contractor once we go through the process of bidding out for the contract on making sure those go up as soon as we can. It's a better way to put it.
What all is included in that? Is there going to be electricity? Are there going to be lockers?
Well, right now, it's just going to be the actual physical structure at this current time. If it actually comes in a little bit lower than we expect, then that will give us some more wiggle room to add possibly electricity or other items as it comes up. But right now, with the changes and as you know, the pricing of steel and other commodities, our goal is to get at least 10 units in there. And if we're able to get 2 units, it's great. If we have some additional money left over, then that'll allow us to go ahead and start improving that structure and possibly the adjacent structure next to it. But right now, I can't give you a definite on that one, sir.
Your predecessor mentioned that it would be very easy to get lockers and relatively inexpensive if it cost anything at all. Some schools are getting rid of their lockers, and that would be a possibility. I don't know if the local schools have lockers still, or if everybody uses a backpack. But it certainly would be worthwhile to investigate.
Yes, sir. That has not left my mind.
Good.
With coming up with the new fiscal year, they'll give me a better ability to go ahead and look at all the additional money we have and make the adjustments as necessary. But the locker adjustments, the lighting to the actual facilities is on the list.
Good.
I just don't want to make you a definite promise right now and not give you an exact date. I just do not want to do that. But no, the lockers are on the radar along with the lighting of the facilities.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Well, as you may be aware, we are 92% of the way through the fiscal year as of the 31st of May. Move this a little bit closer, move this down. The revenue and expenses for the division budget overall, we received for this fiscal year as of the 31st, May the 31st, we received $1,508,169 in revenue. The expenses have been $1,033,749. And we went through around 73% of our budget. For the revenue expenses, airport versus industrial park, the total revenue, as already stated, $1,508,000, $169 or $1,508,169. The airport revenue from the actual airport was $1,329,769. From the industrial park was $184,400. For the actual expenses of the airport, we've expended $972,266,000. For the industrial park, has been $61,482. We still do, just give you an idea, I know it's very similar to last month's. We still have some invoices we're working through right now, or has not hit us yet, so expect that additional expenses to start hitting it towards the end of this month, with the end of the fiscal year. For our fuel flow fees, we've actually had this up to date. Now we've went back to the past 3 months and obtained the additional information. We have this year, as of May 2021, we've had 158,374 gallons. And for the actual airport's budget process, City Council has blessed the budget for next year. So we're going to have roughly around $1.5 million in capital and along with operational.
Mr. Breckenridge, going back to the fuel flow report, would it be possible and not create too much effort on your part if we could split out the Jet A from the 100 low lead on that report?
Yes, Chair Barros, we can definitely do that. We'll have that for the very next meeting,
Okay.
and then we'll follow up with each month, just so
We used to get a very detailed report that compared this year and last year and everything else, and frankly, I think it was too detailed and too onerous to produce every month. I don't think we need that. We can always go back into your records and find out the old stuff, but what would be ideal, in my opinion, is if we had, like you have here, year-to-date, but split it between the two types of fuel, and then perhaps break out what we just added to last month. So that would be real helpful for
Yes,
us.
sir. Yes, sir. We'll
Right.
definitely do that.
Thank you.
Any further questions regarding the airport activity report?
Thank you very much for your detailed report.
Chairman Burrows, this is Bennett.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was able to get those numbers requested by Mr. Amspoker. If it would be okay, would you like me to give those now?
sure. For anybody listening, Commissioner Amspoker asked what we roughly have received from land sale in the last 3 years, and apparently Mr. Bradley was able to research that. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we've had 5 land sales, and the total amount received is $604,650.
Once more, please?
5 land sales
Right.
at total is $604,650.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your diligence on that and the
You're welcome.
promptness.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll continue on with old business, unless there's any more new business. Seeing none. The Airport and Industrial Park duties and responsibilities. Now, this came to us a couple of months ago, and in the April meeting, I believe Commissioner Gerlach made a motion that we move forward and publish it and accept it at the next meeting, in which we all unanimously agreed with. And that put it to last month's meeting. Now, last month, for some reason, and I don't remember why, we tabled it until this month. So, let's see here. Yeah, April 19th, it was motion approve, publish, and formally adopt the commission responsibilities and structure at the next commission meeting. And that was by Mr. Gerlach, seconded by Mr. Stutzman, and it was a unanimous vote. Does anybody remember why we did not go forward with it and tabled it last meeting?
Excuse me, I believe that it was a matter of assigning tasks to individuals, and we chose to table it until we could address that.
Absolutely, okay. I do understand, because there are some standing committees that need to go with it. So I believe that some of the committees can be standing, can be assembled now and will last throughout the year. Some of them we cannot appoint, or it wouldn't make sense to appoint them right now because they are for events. And we certainly don't even know who those players would be. So I'm looking for that.
The one you speak of is, I don't have the document in front of me, but it was for events and other public activities
Correct,
and promotion through the website and Facebook.
correct. So what I would propose we do is go ahead and formally adopt this. And over the next month or so, we can put out an email to commissioners of the positions we need to fill and have commissioners volunteer to take one of those spots. How does that sound?
I don't have a problem with that. I think probably the first one we should fill would be the events with the October Airfest coming up. That seems to be the most pressing.
Okay,
I'm not sure if we need the other two subcommittees, because I think our commission functions pretty well as a whole, but that's certainly my opinion, but it doesn't necessarily reflect everyone's position.
well, the purposes of these particular committees is because of coming up with development strategies and that sort of thing. And this commission meetings wouldn't have time to get down into the weeds, so to speak. And so that would best be served at a committee meeting. And plus, the other folks on that committee, like the city council, legal counsel, or streets, they need to be involved in it as well. So if we can go ahead and adopt this finally, and then we'll see about filling those positions, and we can get the event committee filled pretty quickly. So is there a motion?
Just to clarify, we're accepting the proposed structure, and the airport will have to help fill some of those roles as well, because, well, at least one of them, I believe they all had other parties involved. I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but.
Yes, they all have other city
Yeah.
participants and airport users. And Mr. Breckenridge will have to take the lead on finding out who is going to be in those other roles
Okay.
other than the commissioner meetings.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we made that clear, because we are only a portion of that, so
Right.
a third of it effectively on, so, yes,
I believe it required 2 commissioners, 2 city staff, and in some cases, when it involved the industrial park, they were to have some representation as well. And sometime, if it was a legal issue, there'd be somebody from probably the city attorney. Is all this?
Yeah, exactly. Each committee requires 2 airport industrial park staff. Likely that'll be Doug and Bennett.
Chairperson, would you like me to bring up the actual physical document?
If you would like. I have my copy in front of me. But as I was saying, so each of those 3 committees require 2 airport industrial park staff. Now, The policy and regulations also adds 2 commissioners, 1 law, and 1 finance. So that's 2 additional city staff. The development and planning has 1 economic development and 1 public works. Once again, that's 2 more city staff. And then the events and promotion also requires airport and industrial park staff, 2 commissioners, and 1 or 2 stakeholders, 1 public works and 1 economic development. So that's where we're at.
So as I understand it, in all
Oh, there you
3 commissions, there's 2 commissioners and 4 city employees. Is that correct?
The first one, that's correct. Second one is correct. The third one, the events and promotion, is correct with the addition of 1 or 2 event stakeholders.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept the 3 committees as published.
Okay. So we're formally adopting the entire proposed commission responsibilities and structure, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Gerlach, seconded by Commissioner Larimore, or Lorimer, excuse me. Is there any additional discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. 1 opposition. So the motion does carry. Did you want to state why?
No.
All right. All right, we will fill these positions, at least the commissioner positions, in the near future. I will initiate that. All right? All right, that takes care of old business. Any additional old business? Oh, wait, we have the mission statement, excuse me. Commissioner Lorimer and myself are the committee for the mission statement. I was waiting for input from any other commissioners, which up to today I've received none. Janie, have you received any suggestions from the public, stakeholders, or any commissioners I'm not aware of?
No, sir, we have not.
Okay, no suggestions. All right. Does anybody have any suggestions today?
Yeah, I kind of went through it. And I think if we, after every time when we say the Kingman Airport Authority on the old mission statement, we add the and industrial park language.
Okay.
I think that's probably going to suffice personally, but I wasn't on the commission or the committee, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I find most of the language covers with what Mr. Amspoker stipulating covers it, but I'd be interested to hear if there's any other suggestions on top of that.
All right. So what we'll do is I will set up a meeting with Mr. Breckenridge and Mr. Bradley to get their input and see if they have anything they would like to add to this specifically. And then Mr. Lorimer and I will sit down and develop a draft and bring it back to the commission. Okay, now, I will not get this done by next meeting because I'm gone for the next 3 weeks. And so don't expect to see this back or a draft back until the August meeting. All right? All right. Anything else on the mission statement?
Do we need a motion or anything to slate this for the August meeting?
No, I think continuation for the August meeting, you don't need a motion for that.
No? Okay.
So that'll work. Thank you for asking, though. All right. Any other old business? All right, let's go on to announcements by commission members. We'll start with Commissioner Lorimer.
I have nothing.
All right. Commissioner Gerlach.
The Aviation Heritage Center of Kingman is putting on the Airfest October 9th, and anyone interested in participating in that, please contact me.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Amspoker.
Yes, we had a Young Eagles rally on the 5th of June. It was a tad bit warm, and we'd hoped for a better turnout, but we did manage to fly 49 kids that weekend. 49 kids got a view of Kingman from the sky. I was in the bank this morning, and one of the teller's children was flown, and she said, "I think we've got a pilot in the family coming up here. He just cannot stop talking about it."
That's great. That's what it's all about. Thank
So
you.
I would say it was a good success.
All right, thank you. All right, Commissioner Gaines sent me a message. He wanted me to pass on to Doug Breckenridge. He wants to thank you very much for you and your staff assisting with the glider fly-in or trailer-in, or however gliders get here from afar. And he said over the week, several pilots flew hundreds of miles over the several days and reached altitudes just under 18,000. Yes, they do use oxygen, I asked. Mr. Gaines had a 1 3.5 and 1 4-hour flight and reached 17,400 feet. That's his personal record, which he was thrilled about. And overall, the group enjoyed it. They had great flights. It's a great area. Apparently, when us motorized pilots would rather be on the ground because it's bumpy, that's ideal for them. So that was interesting, and they all want to come back. He's thinking maybe September or October. So that's a great use of our airport. So good to hear. And I will be on vacation and otherwise tied up for the next few weeks. So there's a question. We have very little on the agenda. Do we want to go dark for July? A lot of people are have a lot of plans. We don't have a lot on the agenda. The biggest thing is the city council action on some of the grants or whatnot, but it is what it is. It's not going to change. So what do you think about going dark for July?
I don't have any problem with that if that's what's wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to establish that as a precedence, but I recognize also that there's not a whole lot of going on. One of the best things about our commission meeting, in my opinion, is the staff reports. That keeps us informed of what's going on at the airport, and we get it directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, as opposed through the grapevine, which is not always accurate. So, in fact, quite oftentimes the grapevine is not accurate. So for that reason, I think it's a good idea to have a meeting, but by the same token, we are missing 3 people here. For this meeting, there's not a whole lot of potential on the agenda for next meeting. So I'm not gonna raise a big stink about it.
You're not opposed to it.
Yeah,
All right, well.
I'm just concerned.
The way I, well, and I understand what you're saying. I believe our commission has well established that we meet monthly. But on the other hand, we have to be cognizant of staff time.
Yeah.
And if we don't have much on the agenda, I think we can be reasonable by choosing to go dark a meeting. I'm not sure that that would set a precedent that we couldn't overcome, other than setting the precedent that we're willing to go dark if we don't have any work to do. So, Mr. Breckenridge, do you have a comment about that?
Sir, if council actually, or advisory commission deems it okay to not host a meeting on July, I'm perfectly fine with that. I do know that with the passing of this new subcommittee in the future, there will be some additional opportunities to get the commission a little bit more involved in certain items coming up, especially items that are on my bucket list that I want to knock out before the end of the year. So even though it seems like there's not going to be work, there's still going to be some type of opportunity and getting the advisory commission involved.
Okay, so you think we probably should meet in July?
I think that right now, as of July, probably not. I think it'll be perfectly fine. But by then, a lot of these items that I have kind of cooking on the back burner, I can start moving forward, and then we'll start having a little additional items where either the subcommittee can start getting into and giving their advice regarding items, and then August, hopefully we'll start having those items to vote for, or at least bring up to the commission for your final recommendations.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'd like to entertain a motion to go dark for the month of July.
I move that we suspend our July meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Amspoker, seconded by Commissioner Lorimer.
She's right.
Okay, so we don't have to take a vote on it. Okay, thank you very much. All right. All right, is there any more announcements? I think we covered everybody. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 We are adjourned.